This is Aoharu City, a normal Japanese town with a normal school system, where students solve their problems with air combos and coordinated smackdowns. Random attacks in multiple schools. Students disappearing. Teachers getting involved for some reason. And the solution to every problem is a fight. Not arguments, not detention. Somebody getting launched into the air by a volleyball player. The weirdest part? Nobody thinks this is unusual. At Taiyo High, the transfer student Batsu Ichimonji shows up looking for his missing mother. Reasonable. His solution is to punch everybody remotely connected to the case until answers start falling out. Completely normal behavior. Across town, student athletes are investigating the same mystery, which mostly involves turning school sports into aggravated assault. Meanwhile, a group of American exchange students arrive in Japan and within minutes are fully committed to the violence. At this point, you'd expect the police, the school board, literally any adult with common sense to step in. Instead, the deeper you go into rival schools, the more it starts feeling like this entire city was specifically designed to produce fighting game characters. There's also a school that might be behind everything. The thing about Aoharu City is that every school somehow makes this situation worse. Take Taiyo High. The school seems normal enough. You've got the hot-blooded transfer student, the cheerful friend, and the glasses-wearing honors student who looks like he reminds teachers they forgot to assign homework. Pretty standard setup, until everybody starts solving crimes with spinning back kicks. Then there's Goren High, the sports school, which raises an important question. Why are all the student athletes in this city trained like they're prepping for a tactical raid? One guy throws baseballs like he's trying to pierce tank armor. Another spikes volleyballs like she's trying to remove souls from bodies. Nobody here plays sports for fun. Every after-school activity eventually escalates into attempted murder. Then you get to Gedo High. And this is where rival school stops feeling like a fighting game and starts feeling like a cartoon somebody found in a cursed VHS bin. Gedo isn't really a school, it's more like a street gang that accidentally qualified for federal funding. Here you meet Akira Kazama, who shows up claiming to be the younger brother of Daigo, the gang leader. An immediate red flag. Then the game reveals Akira is actually his younger sister, because this city wasn't chaotic enough yet. Then rival schools introduces Pacific High, the American exchange students. Capcom's understanding of American teenagers in the 90s deserves to be preserved in a museum. You've got a football player who generates tectonic activity with his fists, an aggressively enthusiastic blonde cheerleader, and a preacher in training who questions violence while openly participating in school fistfights. None of these schools trust each other. Everybody thinks everybody else is behind the kidnappings, which means every confrontation eventually becomes dramatic accusations, emotional speeches, and somebody getting kicked through the atmosphere. At this point, I'm not even sure Aoharu City legally qualifies as a school district anymore. What makes rival schools special isn't just the fights. It's the fact that eventually you stop asking who's behind the kidnappings and start asking why everybody in this city fights like they signed a blood oath to enter tournaments every other weekend. Not just students, teachers too. And not, I watch martial arts movies kind of fighting. I mean energy blasts, physics-defying team attacks, launching people 20 feet into the air. This is a school system where faculty members can juggle you into the next school year. Taiyo High's gym teacher turned motivational screaming into a martial art. Meanwhile, the school nurse at Justice High actively creates her own patients by beating students unconscious with a clipboard, and nobody reacts to any of this. No lawsuits, no reports, no emergency PTA meetings. A student gets pile-driven into concrete, and everybody just continues walking to class. Even the mechanics sound like school punishments. There's a move called a tardy counter. That sounds like something a vice principal says before ruining your afternoon. Rival schools is technically a team fighter. Technically. because only one character actually fights while the other waits off screen. Sometimes your partner jumps in to save you. Sometimes they attack the enemy. Sometimes they sprint into frame to escalate the situation beyond reason. Then there's the vigor meter, which is basically the game's super meter, but calling it vigor makes it sound like these students are powered by school spirit, unresolved emotional trauma, and vending machine caffeine. And somehow, the Japanese PlayStation version made all this even weirder by including a full school life simulator where you could create your own student, build friendships, and live through an entire school year. That mode never made it outside Japan, probably because the rest of the world was not ready for the full power of Aoharu City. Eventually, everybody ends up in the same place, face to face with Raizo Imawano, principal of Justice High. This school has been suspicious from the beginning. Its students act weird, its teachers act weirder. Everybody there seems to know more than they should. The school barely feels educational, it feels classified. At first, Raizo seems like the obvious villain, and honestly, look at the guy. He doesn't look like a principal. He looks like a laboratory accident that became a school administrator. This man is built like every beat-em-up final boss mashed together. Naturally, the students decide the best way to uncover the truth is to beat the hell out of him, which works surprisingly often in this universe. But the real twist isn't Raizo, it's Hio Imawano, which might be the most aggressively anime reveal Capcom ever produced, because after hours of school fights, gang drama, unsportsmanship, and friendship-powered assaults, the mastermind turns out to be the principal's nephew, a student, and a guy who doesn't dress like a dictator for the fashion. Hio doesn't just want power, he wants chaos, which makes him the perfect villain for Aoharu City, because this place already feels one bad afternoon away from total collapse. And strangely, this is where rival schools becomes more interesting than people remember. Most fighting games from the 90s barely had stories. Rival schools had factions, conspiracies, multiple perspectives, and enough dialogue to qualify as homework. The game genuinely wanted players to care about these characters, and somehow, against all logic, it works. Maybe that's why people still remember rival schools decades later, not because it was the biggest fighting game of the 90s. It wasn't. It lived in the shadow of Tekken 3 and Mortal Kombat 4 in both arcades and on PlayStation. But rival schools had something these games didn't: the glorious, rule-breaking, anime-grade pandemonium of a school system that gave up. Every character feels like they wandered in from a completely different anime. Baseball players fighting gang leaders, cheerleaders fighting school nurses, teachers throwing fireballs at teenagers. Rival schools united by fate fully believes this world makes sense. That school rivalries should involve organized combat, that soccer can become a martial art, and that friendship is powerful enough to justify synchronized super attacks. Nobody remembers frame data 30 years later. They remember the transfer student who treats hallways like battlefield tutorials, the language teacher who corrects your grammar and your spine in the same lesson, the gang leader who keeps the peace through the overwhelming threat of violence, the principal who maintains order through sheer intimidation. For one brief moment, Capcom created the most dangerous school district in video game history. And honestly, Aoharu City should still be under investigation. Let me know in the comments what you remember most about rival schools. If you enjoyed this video and would like to support the channel, click the join button to become a member. See you next time.